I would like to welcome you to the second day of this very interesting event of AI4EU, or AI4U, as I think it was very nicely presented by Arnaud. Just a reminder for those who were here yesterday, and also some information for those who are newcomers, that you can always use Slido in order to pose your questions to the panel. Of course, we will have a panel discussion, and then we'll have an open session where you can ask additional questions to the members of the panel. So while we are preparing, I think it's a good opportunity for me to introduce you to the panel. First of all, myself, I'm Dimitris Tzovaras. I'm the director of the Information Technologies Institute of the Center for Research and Technology Hellas, located in Thessaloniki in Greece, one of the major research centers in Greece. And I participate here also as a member of the consortium of AI4EU and of the Greek community that is organizing this event. Of course, Democritos is taking the lead of this. Then I would like to introduce our members of the panel. First, I will start with Takis Varelas, DRC Director at Danaos Shipping Company. He's an applied research director with a history on working in academia and the maritime and information industry. He's skilled in operations research, engineering, chemistry, and international shipping. He was a professor on the Technical University of Crete, and his studies is mainly graduated from the University of Athens on chemistry, correct me if I'm wrong, and in South Africa on data metrics. Then next is Vasilis Nikolopoulos, Head of Applied Research and Development and Innovation Department, responsible for digital transformation at Protergia, which is a company member of the Mytilineos group of companies, specialized on metallurgy and energy and also various other sectors. He's a researcher, but also a deep tech entrepreneur. His success stories in the LEN company that was really a success case for Greece. He's working a lot on transforming academic research into actual world-class products. He studied electrical engineering, obtaining the first Scottish honours on Dundee University, and he had postgraduate studies in Imperial College, on the London School of Economics, French École Polytechnique, and his PhD on the National Technical University of Athens. All this. Then we continue with Fokion Tasoulas. He's the executive director at Titan Cement Company and also co-founder of Eucadron PLC. So he's sitting here with two hats, so this is very interesting for the discussion. He's a very experienced executive director with a demonstrated history of working in the building materials industry and also responsible for many transformation projects in multicultural environments. He's skilled in cement, process engineering, change management, and manufacturing. And he's responsible for the digital transformation, but also Industry 4 activities in Titan. He had started in National Technical University of Athens on mining and mineral engineering. And then he continued on the Cranfield School of Management on Masters of Business Administration, and he has additional studies on Singularity University, Columbia University, and also Stanford very recently. And the last but not least member of the panel is Mr. George Drosos, Head of Business Innovation Policy Support Department at the Hellenic Ministry of Development and Investments. He's skilled in the digital strategy, information technology, business innovation, telecommunication, and spectrum management, but also on the regulations of international telecommunications. He's graduated from UMIST, and he has a master and PhD from Sheffield University Management School with an MBA in Marketing Management with distinction. So I remind you that the topic of today's panel is empowering industry through AI. And I'm happy and I'm delighted, I would say, to serve in this panel, which includes 3 of the major industrial players in Greece. Of course, yesterday we had feedback from Thales and also from Siemens, which are major international players. But here we have 3 of the major Greek companies, but with, which also have an international position. And of course, I'm sure that whenever they are considering digital transformation, their goal is not only local. It's not only they are not only targeting the Greek market, but they are targeting the global market. So I think we can start with the discussion. I can start with Takis, and I think the most interesting first question for all of you is we heard AI4EU is a European platform for use by companies, by SMEs, and by individuals. But what is AI for you? So using the last slide from the previous speaker. So how do you consider the use of AI in your company?
I prefer to start what is AI for our industry.
Yes, of course. For you, I mean,
and
for
hereafter for our company. The 4th industrial revolution is here, and the waterborne transportation, the shipping, is ready to adopt and adapt. Artificial intelligence is, without any doubt, the key driver in this change. In our days, we have Internet of Things, wireless networks on board. We collect big data. We capture and we process big data. And the volume of the collected data is increased dramatically. So we need to have big data analytics to process the data. And we need also to have artificial intelligence tools in order to support humans for better ships operation in terms of safety, efficiency, and environmentally friendliness. According to the Deloitte, ship owners set to invest about 2.5 million euros for each vessel in the next 3 years. This is the current status of AI and shipping industry.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's see what is the point of view from the energy companies and also the metallurgy companies.
Yeah. Actually, as you might know, we all know that energy is under a huge digital transformation right now. Okay, I mean, things are changing, utilities are changing, where actually utilities are transforming themselves into digital service providers. That means that the digital transformation, and for us, AI, it's a huge transition towards strategy. That means for us, AI is strategy. Strategy about how to use data to train models, strategy how to set up teams internally into the utilities side or into big companies so that to execute AI projects. That means agility, that means many other things behind the scenes. And of course, based on the IoT, the Industry 4 and everything, we're going to have tons, petabytes of data information being generated either from smart meters, either from smart EV chargers, from smart vehicles. Energy is, for me, it's the big business for the next decade. That being said, we're talking about how to actually materialize all the research that right now exists. I mean, bear in mind that AI exists for now the last 3-4 years. But what, I mean, we taught AI as engineers in universities. However, what we have now that we never had before, it's data. So the huge amount of data sets that exist now, there were enablers to new type of, let's say, training methodologies such as deep learning. So AI, it's a very well-defined science, vertical science. We know exactly that AI will be used a lot of, especially in the energy sector. There is a huge complexity now in that market, and when we mean complexity, we need to reduce that complexity factor. So AI and smart autonomous systems will be key enablers towards that direction and that objective. So for me, AI is the big stake for utilities in the next 5 to 10 years. And of course, as a group, we will invest a lot internally to build up such teams, so that to deal with data, to deal with data sets, to train models internally, to serve our verticals such as digital twins in the industry, okay, such as RES and combined aggregator models for the target model market right now. Bear in mind also that in the next 10 months, we're going to have a new energy model, a new energy market in Greece, okay? And of course, based on the retail market, we have a lot of customers. We're going to have more customers in the near future, and we want to serve, we want to, let's say, enable innovations towards that customers, and AI will be the core functionality and the core, let's say, module in between in our backend systems. So for us, it's extremely important to invest on the know-how.
Okay, thank you very much. Especially for the energy sector,
it's huge.
It's clear that AI is.
It's huge.
The impact would be huge.
Yeah, as the system gets more complex, you need AI to define that complexity and to reduce it.
Definitely. Okay, then moving to Fokion, what is the perspective from the cement industry?
Thank you, George. I would like to be a little bit more, let's say, thinking more about that, because we believe that it's something big, very big, but we don't know how big it is. And we strongly believe, and I personally believe, that we're just starting to scratch the surface of something that is real very big. And if I allow me to make an analogy, I remember Andrew Ngu, professor in Stanford, saying that AI is the new electricity that you produce. And all of us, we know that it took to the electricity more than 50 years to be introduced to the industry in a way that gave exponential results. So my personal, let's say, vision is to work towards an autonomous enterprise and an autonomous plant. But I don't know exactly how this is going to happen and how AI is going to support it, but it's there. So what I mean behind that is still we don't have the right set of capabilities and the mindset to take advantage of all these things that our AI is bringing to us for better real-time fact-based decisions. And we are now starting to explore. So as it happened with electricity, with these 50 years, the first step was that in an industry or in a plant that they had a steam engine and everything was connected with shafts and belts to the old small units. Then it took us 50 years to set up a different structure on that, driven by people and driven by flow of materials, putting small electrical motor powers everywhere. And that's a different paradigm. So we need to have a shift of our paradigm first to take advantage of this AI. The indications that we have, it's something big. In our industry, and also in utilities and even in shipping, when you get 1% improvement in performance, or meaning that the output is increased 1% or your energy consumption is decreased by 1%, we talk about big money. In us, 1% less energy consumption, thermal and electrical, is about 4 million euros at the P&L, at EBITDA. So, and we now doing some small experiments that we are doing, some small cases, we have sometimes double digit of improvement. But this is a little bit isolated because we strongly believe that still we cannot address the whole value chain that we have. If you start to ask from our suppliers to our customers, there is a huge value chain in between. And our vision is how this value chain will be based in a big data lake and the real-time decision-making, fact-based, to optimize all this. It seems that it's huge. Allow me to say, but I personally don't know yet how big it is.
Thank you very much. I think this is the way most of the companies are viewing AI at this stage. So they are sure that the direction is this, but they still don't know at which stage.
If you allow me now, is that what we try to do? We say that we think big, we try to start small, and to be ready to scale up and accelerate.
Scale up, yes.
There is no other way to do it.
Thank you very much. Now moving to the state representative, Mr. Drosos. So George, in the US, the government AI strategy includes technology transfer to the private sector. How do you believe that Europe, and more especially Greece, that you know much better, is responding to this? Is it following a similar strategy? Of course, we had some discussions also yesterday on that point, but I would like to hear from you what is the actual the direction from our state on this.
Thank you, Dimitris. First of all, I would like to thank you, all of you, for inviting the Ministry of Development in this panel. The seating arrangement is not by chance, it's on purpose.
By accident.
No, it's not by accident. It's on purpose. The ministry, the government, it's an enabler. The company is in the center, academia is in the center, and we are here in order to enable this attempt. Fokion is reading my mind. My first sentence in my note says, like electricity in the past, artificial intelligence is transforming our world. You can see it if you don't believe me. We do feel at the ministry that artificial intelligence is the actual and the expected process of technology. From the point of view of research, technology is there, I wouldn't say decades, but I'll say years ago. What we're trying to do now is to implement this technology. When I did my PhD 30 years ago, artificial intelligence was there, technologically. We had the solutions. Research was taking place on artificial intelligence, or as we call it in the ministry, digital transformation, and I'll explain why we call it digital transformation in a minute, was there. Solutions are there. The problem that we are facing now is to implement them into the society, into industry, into workers, into labor, into the society. How we see it from the point of view of the ministry as Europe and as Greece is that we have to focus on what has been mentioned so many times these 2 days, on human-centric digital transformation. Why we use the term digital transformation than artificial intelligence? Well, our ministry is approaching SMEs. I'm very pleased to be here with large companies, large Greek companies, but that's not the majority of the industrial sector in Greece. So when you approach them and you mention the word artificial intelligence, something that is totally acceptable between us, for them is a fear. I have to say that especially the very small companies, the moment you open your mouth and you say artificial intelligence, and you ask them, what do you think about it? They say about Star Trek and killing robots. And that's a reality. That's not a joke. So we are using the term digital transformation because we think that's a bigger umbrella, and we are trying to face the fear of the workers. We are trying to face the socio-economical changes that need to be done in the society in order to accept artificial intelligence. We are trying to build public-private investment because we are talking about large amounts of money to be invested, and we are trying to secure a legislation that has two sides. One side of the legislation is it has to be innovative. If we stop innovation, we're doing nothing. If we restrict so much innovation through the regulation, there is no success. But on the other hand, we must secure all the ethical aspects, all the security aspects that they are involved with the artificial intelligence. So these are the three pillars that the European and obviously the Greek strategy will be based, is first of all, investment, public-private investments, prepare everyone, every citizen for the socio-economical change that will take place, and also secure ethics and safety and innovation into the regulation. I'm using the term, it's our generation that we are technology immigrants, whereas our children are technology natives. It will be much easier for them to adopt all this technology than it is to reskill all the labor force and also society for the changes. Thank you.
Just a follow-up question. I want a very short answer. When should we expect this strategy? When?
Okay. I will say that as you know, the initiative from Europe started back in unofficially about 2010, officially started in 2016 with the Digitizing European Industry Initiative. 2018, we changed the word digitizing industry into artificial intelligence. We moved on one step into the technology. We are building up on several initiatives. Every ministry in Greece are already running and has planned national initiatives. Our ministry has run last summer 2 initiatives on digital jump, digital step. The Ministry of Labor are running Rebrain program. As you're going to hear in the next panel, the General Secretary of Research, they are running programs that they include artificial intelligence. However, these national initiatives are in line with what the European, let's say, guidelines are allowing us. As far as a strategy is concerned, a concrete text, I would say that we do expect something like that in the middle towards the end of 2020. Although I heard yesterday the Secretary General talking about 6 to 8 months, I think a more realistic approach will be in the middle towards the end of 2020. Our ministry is undertaking a project to set up a national strategy on industrial digital transformation. And I know also that the Digital Governance Ministry is also running a similar project with the help of SRSS, the Structural Reform Support Service of the European Commission, and they are major help to set up such a strategy. However, we have to be clear what the strategy is. The strategy is a guideline. What is more important is to make the strategy real actions. And that will be the important thing. And as far as actual national initiatives, I'm very pleased to say we are already running.
Okay, thank you very much. So starting the second round of questions to our industrial representatives, I would start now with Vasilis. So do you believe that your company is already responding to this major change that we have? Are you ready to adopt disruptive technologies? Do you think these technologies will open a new market for your company? Are they already opening a new market? And apart from this, what is the role of innovation in your company? How much do you invest on innovation, and what do you expect from innovation?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I have the honor to lead the R&D innovation division. So, with all the deal with Intel and everything. So, yes, based on that fact, there is a very serious strategy from the top management that things are about to change. And things are about to change, and big companies such as Mytilineos needs to change, needs to evolve, okay? And recently our president talked about innovation. So that being said, it's pretty sure that the whole group will try to change and is willing to change. Of course, change is a very difficult, it's a very tough word, okay? Change, it's not easy, especially with traditional companies. So we need internal strategy, we need a plan, we need patience, We need change of mentality, internal mentality of the employees, of the top management, of the middle management. So change is not an easy thing to do, but of course it's willing to do that. There is a plan to change and to follow all the whole, as we say now, the digital transformation, umbrella, which below that there are many, many things, and also AI, it is a kind of thing. For me, in the near future, not only our group, but in many, many other big companies, there's going to be a place, or there's going to be a, let's say, vacancy, as we say, a chief AI officer. That means it's like IT, that things will, the AI thing will grow up tremendously in the next years. So we need to have a group, we need to have, let's say, one executive that will handle and will sync all the transformation from the bottom up and top down, okay, it's a combination, towards the full digitization, towards the data-driven strategy, as we say, because right now AI, it won't only help external service provision, so AI won't only, let's say, build or create new type of innovative services and products. As a group, we have plenty of verticals. We will invest and we will apply AI to the industry for. I mean, we have a huge factory, a huge industry. Also, Meta has an EPC vertical sector of business, so this is also attractive. We have renewable energy sources. We have aggregator licensing, so we need actually to build AI so that to optimally manage portfolios towards the target market. So there are too many verticals, and yes, the group will invest heavily on that. And we're going to need, in the near future, executives to manage and to lead that kind of transformation. Of course, from inside, I mean, mentality, training, internal training of people, and to convert the whole group, to convert companies into data-driven thinkers. And as I said, not only extrovert, not only to create, let's say, an external service, but also introvert. That means that to improve, especially to improve internal procedures, to improve internal processes, to make the company flow much, much better, much, much more efficient. That means that we need to take advantage of data, internal, external data. That means that we need to create more data sets. For me, one of the biggest differentiations won't be, let's say, to have the best neural network or the best backpropagation neural network or the best mathematics. For me, the next biggest differentiation will be for the companies to create new differentiative data sets based on IoT installations, based on many other techniques. And that new data sets, all those new data sets will train in a unique way the existing models.
You give me the floor to ask you
Yeah.
a question. I need the short answer,
Sure.
and also the position of the other members of the panel. How ready are you to share your data?
Well, of course, there's
with your suppliers, with
Yeah,
your
yeah,
how difficult is it in a traditional company?
It is quite difficult
to do that.
Yeah, it is quite difficult. Of course, there is the law, there is the GDPR, there is the whole thing about data privacy right now. However, this should not be an obstacle. Okay, right now in UK there are startups that are raising funds to manage your data and to give you money back. So if we ask ourselves who owns the data, it's the consumer, it's the end user that owns the data, and the companies are actually smart managing, assets in between. So yes, it's difficult for a big company to share the data, definitely, but there will be, I think, a methodology and a strategy towards the sharing of data in the near future. Okay, open data portals and in general open data, it is something that the European Commission also wants. In every European project, there is a data management plan, and the Commission asks you, what kind of data can you share in an open environment so that for other stakeholders to go and apply, applied research, to apply, various mobile apps or, startups to apply their business models. So yes, we're not ready 100% to move that, to make that huge step, that leap, but I think in the next years, the group will be digitally reorganize themselves so that to follow the AI trends, to generate new services and products, to optimize internal procedures, and to create an internal data lake warehouse that we may also share things to that world.
Okay. Fokion, what is the position
Yeah.
of your company on all
Yeah.
this, on disruptive technologies, on innovation, and also on sharing data in order to get
Yeah.
the major benefit out of it?
Yeah, in Titan we started, I would say, almost 5 years ago. at a BOD and executive committee level, doing some, awareness workshop, first of all, with a lot of institutions like Singularity University that you mentioned, or big consulting firms like McKinsey or BCG. So we had various workshops trying to think first in three different dimensions. What is going to happen in the future? The first dimension was, is our product going to be disrupted? Meaning that cement or clinker that we produce is going to change, is going to be another material in the foreseeable future that will take over that. We decided after a lot of debate and discussion that it's not the case, at least for the next 5 to 10, 15 years. Then our second question and argumentation was, is our business model going to be disrupted? The way that we operate with the value chain with our customer suppliers, we said that we are not one of the first, let's say, industries that is going to change. We've seen a lot of things happening in music or in movies or in tourism and other, probably energy. It's not us yet, but we keep a question mark on that. And then there was a third element that we had to decide, does it all this new technology and new disruption is going to give us any competitive advantage if we start early?
Yeah.
And we decided that's it. Let's focus on the third element and try to implement change and try to implement new things. And we started very, very small, with very small experiments. The first experiment we did, we spent 20,000 euros only. It was a small AI startup from France that we did a real-time optimizer in one of asset, one mill that is grinding cement, and your friend Othon was involved on that. So, and we saw that from the baseline, whatever it was the baseline, and I cannot judge if it was low, medium, or high, that was the baseline that the plant was working for the last 30 years. From the baseline, we got an improvement of 25 to 30%.
25 to 30%.
Amazing. So everybody was like that. So after that, we had, more room to try to experiment more. So at this moment, we have 5, 6, I would say 8 different use cases that we're working. Most of them are in real-time optimizer of assets. Our assets are big and heavy assets, a lot of flow and capacity of the materials. We do this in real-time optimizer. We do that in failure prediction. I was really, I saw this, the failure prediction mode with ABB. It's something very interesting. So we try to predict failure of equipment well in advance and correct it. Again, with artificial intelligence and machine learning. We do on quality prediction. We're working also with Dimitris, trying to measure real-time some characteristics on the quality of the materials, but real-time, the right things to predict the strength development and can get the right, let's say, actions on that. What we see, and through that, we have started to work with startups, unfortunately outside of Greece, because in Greece we have not found yet the kind of startups that we need. We work with guys from Israel, from Spain, from France, from Brazil, from US. And that's the one. So then we are working with academia and we do research on developing our own algorithms and machine learning platforms. And we have now 2 such cases that we are practicing and we are experimenting in our plants. And in parallel with that, we are working with the equipment suppliers that they also want to work with us and develop all this and share data. That will come on that.
Yes.
And then we try to develop our people. We try to learn. We go out, reach out, like what we do today, reach out to different companies, different institutions to understand what's going on, what we can do. We try to develop our talent, to reskill our people, to hire new people. We have already 7 data scientists in Titan, in our headquarters here. We're running a program with the regeneration to train 30 young graduates for the Greek universities on AI and big data. And out of them, we will hire the 7 best of them. And the rest will be available from the rest of the industry. And what we are doing now...
Good.
Okay, yeah.
Trained by you.
Of course.
Of course.
And then what we do now is a next step trying to address exactly all these future needs that we need. We are building a center of excellence, we call it, digital center of excellence, here in Greece, that is directly linked with the executive committee. And we try to run all these projects in a totally different way. Because the most important thing and the best ingredient on that, and I would like to share with you my personal concern on that, is how you run such projects. We cannot run these projects as we used to do it, with this, as you call it, the waterfall approach. You make something huge, you. Here, what we have multidisciplinary teams, 3, 4, 5 people maximum. They do all the projects in sprints, one sprint, 2 to 4 weeks. Either you go or you fail. You scrap the project, or you go to the next. And you are ready to scale up and accelerate. And that's something that many times concerns me, because we have a lot of R&D and innovation. We are doing a lot of European programs, R&D programs, probably a lot of people here who are involved together in a lot of, even with you now, we'll file for such a program.
Yes, yes.
And if we look, the bureaucracy and the time horizon is huge. We are discussing with Siemens and my friend Johan, that was here yesterday, I know, to do such a project for CO2 capture. And when we saw the time frame, we thought that after 3 years or 5 years of the proof of concept, somebody else will be in the market selling this. So it's something that we need to revisit. Do we need to design everything from the beginning, or we need to have a screening process that we will have continuous iterations, how we do things, and what are the things that we need to invest upon? So that's our small universe. We're very confident that we can do a lot of things. We're still at the beginning, as I said in the previous. If I go to data, there is a huge debate on that. Again, I don't want to steal again from you, but as they say, data is the new oil. So if oil, if my data is oil, why to give you my oil to you?
Else.
So, and I'm joking on that. The thing is,
you can sell it.
yeah, no, or to provide data, what for? There is need to be a case. Is this a business case? Can we, two of us?
It is a business case because you need to collaborate.
Absolutely. Can all of us work on an ecosystem in a totally different approach? That all of us will be enablers each other to do better business, all of us together, and promote academia there? We are open to do that. On the thing, I install you a sensor. I give you free sensor, and then I collect the data, and I process them, and I come back to offer you services. We were a little bit, reluctant on that. But if we set a structure that we try to develop an ecosystem, and you know better than me, Google has Android. They provide Android for free to the cell phone suppliers and to the customers. All of them, they collect the data that they need. All of them, they're happy. That's a business model. Yes. So under such considerations, we are open to discuss.
Yes, the idea is that with your supply chain, you can exchange data because you have some benefit.
Also with academia, yes, or with a lot of other things.
So Taki, what is your position on the same?
Okay. Danaos, with a long success history in the ship, as a ship owner, operator, and manager, as well as maritime information systems developer and producer worldwide, anticipated early and managed this change. In 2014, European Union assigned to us, within the content of the MESA project, to define the roadmap of the maritime executive strategic action in the light of the coming change. So far, we have already developed many artificial intelligence tools for the ongoing monitoring and inspection of the hull and the machinery of the systems, utilizing, as I mentioned before, a wireless network of sensors. We analyze the data. We have, as a result, easily event recognition, error detection, and we developed artificial intelligence tools for decision support. We are working also, and we have developed, and we are in development stage for other tools, for example, the tools for optimizer of energy efficiency. I totally agree that it's very, very important for us, either a small reduction of fuel consumption is translated in a very, very huge income. And we have also used optimizers for the asset management, since the vessel is an asset with a very, very high price. And all of these services which have developed in our for own purposes, we have also the possibility to sell worldwide in the globally.
So you are selling services also to other companies?
To other companies globally. Yeah. And I suppose that we are maybe the first company worldwide to provide artificial intelligence tools in the shipping industry. Regarding innovation, innovation is a well-discussed term and is on the lips of everyone here. And of course, is a key player in the next years. Just to clarify the definition of the term, innovation is the ingenuity idea which is in place. This is the 3I definition of the innovation. There are several ideas, there are several innovative ideas, but only few of them pass the valley of death. So we need to be very, to understand very much in evaluation of innovative ideas in order to have as less as possible the right of the wrong, to have plasticity in order to enter in the new model, in the new way of thinking in the business. Regarding the data share and exchange, of course, everyone knows that it's a very hard, it's a problem with a very, very hard solution. Years ago, everybody wants to have access to other data, and at the same time is not willing to provide that.
Their own data.
This is the reality. But European Union, for example, we have a European Union project, the EMAR project, where Danaos Danaos is participating in this project with, and the objective of the project was the development of one EMSF, European Maritime Strategic Framework, where all the shareholders have the possibility to interconnect for data exchange and share. Danaos, after the successfully completion of the project, developed the first platform for maritime. Its name is Danaos One platform. And in order to have share and exchange of data between the stakeholders with a very, very unexpected, unexpected success. I think that the key of this success is, first of all, is considered a quality mark for the partners which are in the specific platform, and the commitment of the platform that the data are not stored. They can exchange between the stakeholders, and there are not any place where the data are stored. I don't know if it is feasible to be better or to have, let's say, a universe, a system, a cyber system where the data will be available, of course, with many rules. But maybe it's something that we can achieve some time.
Okay. Thank you very much. So moving again to George. So my question is more on the digital innovation hubs, and how do you believe this new trend of European Union? Do you believe on that? Do you think it will be a success? How do you think it will be linked to Industry 4 revolution and digital transformation? Is it only for SMEs? Is it also for big companies? What is your position on that?
Digital innovation hubs. Okay, we heard yesterday a few things about them, and I would like to elaborate because also on the panel yesterday evening, we heard the question, why do we need digital innovation hubs when we have consulting companies? I didn't want to intervene yesterday in the panel because I wanted to elaborate today on that. And I would like to summarize what the digital innovation hub is with 3 words. Test before invest. That's the key point that no consulting company can do for you. Who is the you? The you is every company that needs a technological solution. Is every institution that can provide the solution. When we're talking about Digital Innovation Hub, we're talking about a consortium of companies, of academia, of public sector, hopefully, that can provide some help with the regulation or with the safeguarding of some other issues I'm going to talk about later. And you have technology givers and technology takers. We are talking about technology here. We are not talking about services as such. Digital Innovation Hub can give you the opportunity to test your idea, bring your idea into an experimental environment that's very close to reality, and see if it works. So test before invest is the key point of the Digital Innovation Hubs. We feel that there is no way all these new technologies will come down to industry, to SMEs particular. We are not talking about Titan, although Titan is a technology giver in a Digital Innovation Hub. We certainly need them. Yeah. But when we're talking about SMEs, they are technology takers, and we need all different types of companies into a Digital Innovation Hub.
Thank you very much, George. Now, a last round, I would like a short answer from you, because then we have to move to the questions from the audience. So it's a little bit provocative question, first of all, because I'm coming from the academia and the research area. I heard from all 3 of you that you are developing your solutions for AI. So if you are developing your solutions for AI, what is our role? What is the role of AI4EU? That's providing the tools. How do you see, at what extent the AI, your adoption of AI will be internal strategy, and what extent you believe you will need collaborations with academia, with research centers, with SMEs, with startups? And so this is, I would like your
starting?
position on that.
I'm starting?
You're starting. You're
Thank
starting
you.
now.
Thank you. No, we are open 100%. We try to explore a lot of different models. We are not sure yet what is the end state. So we try to do, there is a huge area that we try to explore. AI is on the top, but if you go deeper on the foundation, you have how you measure things, you have sensors, you have connectivity, you have data transfer, you have data storage, you have data cleansing, you have blah, 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 all this. And then on top of this, you have AI, you have platforms, you have systems that you want to make real-time decisions. So it's a huge universe on that. So to cover all this, one organization, it's impossible to cover it alone. And we don't have the model to grow like GE, for instance, that started to become a software company. No, we don't have this. We try to be, first of all, now we try to reach out and try to check and see. Then we try to develop different options. And then at some point, we'll select what is the best options to proceed. On that, academia and research and everything, for us, has a huge impact. The only concern that I say, I want to repeat, that's my personal, let's say, concern, is how fast we move to this direction, how we accelerate. When we talk about US or Asia or China or this, you know, there are things are happening just like that.
Exactly.
You go through a venture capital, the first 30 seconds you need to test your idea. Exactly. As you said, test. If you don't succeed, next time. So here we need to find a new modus operandi that probably projects that we're doing for years, now we need to find new ways to do that because
and to do them in months.
Speed is of essence. Yeah. Not all the ideas are successful. We need to separate them. We need to test them and iterate in the journey and find a way. Otherwise, we are open and we are located to have a long experience of collaboration. For instance, now from Democritus, we have tens of years of experience of that, or with universities, with anybody. We are open, ready.
Thank you. And your position?
Yeah, of course, I think that it is imperative to join our forces, academia and industry, especially research centers in Greece has a very, very high potential in the development of this kind of solutions like the Moxtos or Eketa, I don't know. I think also that the participation as much as possible of our industry in the European Union projects, it will be very useful in the adoption and the adoption of the research. Of course, we know maybe better the problem, and academia know better the solution, but sometimes provide solutions without knowing the problem. So we need to solve this gap, to overcome this gap. And of course, I think that, and the state, the country, our state is time now to expedite the processes in the investment of the research.
We'll come to that. Thank you. And Vasilis, your view?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I'm the guy who turned his PhD into a successful startup, and then the startup became an innovation arm to a big company. So I know how the ball is played. I've been sat to both sides of the table. So I cannot share more. We will announce huge things in 2020. There is a specific plan for the next 5 years right now. We will announce many things. What I can say right now is that Proteria, and actually the division which I'm leading, we are building one of the biggest technology transfer networks in Greece right now, with many universities and research centers on board. Because I've been working with more than 10, 15 years with applied research and how to turn this research into a startup or a product, we will apply for the first time its unique design thinking techniques to researchers. It's a Stanford best practice that is being actually run in startup companies. Right now, we will gather cross-functional teams and we will put them using a specific methodology, because the methodology should be strict, because a researcher cannot become an entrepreneur. There are exceptions, but that's not the rule. Yes. You have to guide them through industry to put them and to guide them to solve big challenges, because innovation, it's in the academia, full stop. You need to guide them. And this is what the Israeli guys are doing, have done already, and this is why the Portuguese guys are doing right now, because it's a country very, very close to us. So we will invest heavily on academia. We will build a technology transfer network with efficient communications to turn applied research into products, because in the academia, and in general, the applied open innovation concept, you have the solutions and you search the problem. That's vice versa from the traditional entrepreneurship, okay? Because you have the publications and you need to apply them to specific problems and challenges. So yes, we will heavily invest. Yes, we will use a lot of academia and a lot of universities, Greek universities and research centers. We'll announce many things. We're actually starting from Aristotle University of Thessaloniki in December that will run the first applied design thinking workshop with academics, okay? And it's something that we'll go do with many, many other teams in Greece. Put them in the middle, guiding them, and give them big, big challenges to be solved by the industry guidance. So yes, not only will heavily involved and invest, but it's our actually, second life to that 5-year plan.
Thank you very much. George, the last question to you, but I would like a short answer. So we are expecting your help on using AI to accelerate digital transformation. How do you think this may happen? What are the first steps?
Okay, it will be bullet point question.
Yeah.
Bullet point answer.
Answer.
Okay. As I mentioned, national initiatives are in place. New technologies have been embraced by all the ministries in Greece. They are all involved in the national initiatives, so they are there. European programs also either focusing especially on new technologies like Digital Europe, or are incorporated into other programs like Horizon Europe. That's the next program. We have to realize, and my concluding remark is that artificial intelligence is a tool, a very sophisticated tool, but it's a tool. A tool cannot operate without human beings and without human interaction. So one of the major issues that we have to do as far as companies are concerned is to build e-leadership. In other words, explain to people that their workers, they don't have to fear from artificial intelligence. And also explain society, there is nothing to fear from artificial intelligence. They have to benefit. Everybody has to benefit from artificial intelligence. And that's my concluding remark. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.